Hello and welcome once again to Ignite Your Impact. My name is Jen Rhodes. I am, again, sadly by myself today. Matt is traveling for his job. And so I was traveling last week, so you had Matt, and we were traveling the week before. Oh my goodness. We have been very, very busy, and May is looking to be just as busy as April was. Not as much travel in May, other than this little stint for Matt, but just as jam-packed as I'm sure you and your family are experiencing. I don't know why. I put this out on my social a couple weeks ago. What's busier as a parent, December or May? And every single one of my moms of teens were like, oh my God, May. There's just one more thing. And one more thing. And just, again, one more thing. And let's put Mother's Day in there. So it's been a very busy month so far. We had, just in that first week, those first few days, I had a business trip and came home to Cannon's senior night in La Crosse, which was amazing. And I'd like to report 0 tears were shed. Thank you very much. Very proud of myself. And the coach tried. He put a very heartfelt message in his coach's comments on players. I was like, oh, you're sneaky, Coach Kimsey, trying to make me cry. Not gonna work. I'm bulletproof today. So we had Cannon's senior night in La Crosse, and then Callie's 21st birthday on the same day. And all of my girlfriends all day long, how you doing? You okay? I'm like, guys, I'm good. I'm too busy to be upset or sad or happy or any of the emotions. So we've had a lovely weekend with both children. And that's why you've got just me today. We are really trying to be intentional when we can get chunks of time with the kids where we would normally, skirt off and record a podcast in an hour. We're going to take that time and just chill with the kids. So that's what we did this weekend, and it was lovely. So I looked at Matt as he's packing up for his trip on Tuesday, and I said, I got this. I'll rip a recording real quick. I'll make sure I lay some golden nuggets. So that is my goal here for you today, now that I've bantered enough. I didn't even get into the second week of May. I just got through the first weekend, let alone Mother's Day and 4 family birthdays. And our son is graduating, and Callie's now got 3 positions in her sorority. I'm like, Callie, stop. So I don't know where they get it. Yes, I do. I know exactly where they get it. But that's a whole other story for another podcast. And a lovely conversation last night with Cannon over dinner about goals. God, I love my kids. Anyway, welcome back, champs. It's good for me to be back. It's been a hot minute since I've been in this chair to record. I'm usually in this chair just furiously typing, and I'm in the middle of a launch. So it's definitely had my brain distracted with bigger things this week, right? Bigger rocks. I'll explain what that means if you don't already know. But today's episode, I think, is going to be a game changer. It is autobiographical, but I know that you're also probably feeling what I'm feeling or what I felt. I don't know if you've ever felt a little lazy or a little unmotivated to chase after your goals, or maybe it's not that you're lazy, or it's not that you're unmotivated. You're just distracted. And I want to flip the script on all of this today, because it's not about laziness. It's about distraction. We are engulfed in a sea of notifications, social media, digital chaos. On a side note, when did it become necessary and immediate to respond to a text? When did that happen? When did that enter our lexicon. I remember when text first started, right? And it was fun and it was new and bing, you got distracted. And now text has become like the screaming child, right? The real issue here is that our attention is constantly stolen by the digital world, consistently stolen by the digital world. It was designed to steal our attention. Again, another rant for another day. But they have studied for years the things that happen to our brains when we see a notification, a ding. Do you know that when you pull down on Twitter, it doesn't do anything? It's going to automatically relaunch and renew itself. But the physical act of us pulling us down releases dopamine in our brain. And they realized, oh, we can gamify that. It makes it feel like we're winning or we're receiving something. Bananas. Bananas what they know about our brain. And we're going to learn how to harness that today. But our attention is consistently stolen by the digital world. I want to share an anecdote. It's somewhat embarrassing, but I'm hoping it's a hopeful story. I was in Nashville last week with my social media coach. It is 2.5 days of sun up to sundown, just go, recording and planning and conversating about where I want my brand to go. And at one point, we always have a section of our day to just take stock of current events. What's getting in the way? Big rocks, little rocks, small pebbles. And she is definitely a navigator through digital storms. If you're a social media coach and you haven't figured out how to turn that section of your brain off, you are in for a world of hurt. But I love her because she can keep me focused, but also give me little rewards throughout the day. My God, Sierra, if you're, I'm on to you. I know you give me little rewards throughout the day to keep me going. It's fine. I like my rewards. But in a few sections of our day, she challenged me to find the big rocks. What's eating the bulk of my day? Is it necessary? Is it something that we need to delegate? Is it something that I can hire out? And live on camera, she dared me to pull out my phone and confess my sins to the world. And I did. She dared me to look at how much time was actually being spent on my phone. Me, a successful coach. I will consider myself a very successful coach. I have redefined this role in this space in my community. Turns out a massive chunk of my day is being swallowed by social media. Was it eye-opening? Maybe. I know where I spend my time. Was it embarrassing? Yeah, it was. But more than anything else, it was hopeful because I can recognize it and I can adjust it. Because it showed me I had a lot of time. 9 hours a week to be exact. 9 hours. Is that getting back to potential leads? Some of it. Absolutely. But I've got time. I've got loads of time. It also showed me an area that I can hire out. So I can continue to build my brand and build my company and build my team. The problem isn't me being lazy. I think we've established that. I think you all know that I am an incredibly motivated person. I was simply not using my time to my advantage. And silly times, during silly times, I would take a brain break. Well, it turns out those brain breaks are still keeping my brain engaged, so I'm not actually giving myself time to break. Got it. Maybe you fall into this trap too. Maybe you're in bed at night, but you just can't seem to get to sleep until 11. Maybe first thing in the morning, there's no way I can wake up at 5:30. There's no way. Maybe lunch. Maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Maybe during your scheduled nap. I was wasting my nap, my coveted nap. You guys know how I love my nap. I was wasting it. I don't even spend time on Facebook when I'm at the gym. Isn't that wild? I have specific boundaries in place to where things can't touch me when I'm physically inside the gym. It's wonderful. The problem isn't me being lazy. I wasn't using my time to my advantage. It's okay. These handy-ass computers in our hands know exactly how to take our eyes off the prize. They know exactly how our brains work. And you're either one type or another type, and they know. You're either the type that has to clear out all of the notifications, or you have so much going on, you have 1 billion notifications and you're missing things. These computers know. Scratch that. These computer designers know. These app designers know how to take our eyes off the prize. This realization sparked a revolution in how I approach my goals. Instead of worrying about adopting new tactics or overhauling my life overnight, or maybe I buy a new system to do this and this and this, and maybe I buy a new planner and I'm going to do this and I'm going to organize this. Stop. Where can you make a small adjustment now? Where can you make a small boundary now to be mindful about where our attention goes? I have a boundary in place, but it's become a habit to ignore it. I have that boundary in place. I set it 2 years ago. But there's a little notification that pops up that goes, "Are you sure you want to keep going?" And it's almost, yes. Yes, I want to keep going. How long do you want to keep going? All day. That's so bad. It's just an extra centimeter on my phone up to where I know I should turn this off in 15 minutes. Set that boundary. Be aware, set the boundary. It's about making those small adjustments. You have the time. You just need to see it. You just need to seize it and protect it. I tripped on my tongue. Now, are you feeling swamped or stuck in a productivity funk? You might be, and that's tough. But running yourself ragged isn't the answer. And beating yourself up is definitely not the answer. Was that video, and I'm going to release it. You can see me live, like, oh, but there's no guilt or shame. Recognize it, fix it, move on. It's just like fitness. The real deal is organizing your time better with what you've got. So to tackle this, I use time blocking. I use my calendar. I live and die by my calendar. I even schedule time blocks for family time. Why? It's a boundary. I don't want anything to potentially distract me. It also tells me if I have that blocked, I have a focus. If it's set to family time, nothing reaches me. because the only people that can distract me when I have other time blocks set in place, I'm with. It's lovely. It's lovely. So it's about splitting my day into chunks dedicated to specific tasks. And I have goals during those blocks. During this time block, I want to get this big rock tackled or pieces of that rock tackled. That way I can dive deep into one thing at a time. And when it's done, close the book, move on. I've also found it definitely helps manage my ADHD because when I time block and it's an open-ended and there's not a goal in place for that time block, I will ignore the rest of my time blocks and I'll spend 8 hours on a task. Anybody else? Show of hands? Comment below. That's me. I get so hyper-focused that I ditch the rest of my goals for the day and then nothing really gets done. But I've reorganized my office. I've done every section of laundry in the house. I've spent 8 hours in my CRM building all these new things, but nothing else to show. So I've also had to create those time blocks with a goal at the end. At the end of this, I want this done. It helps keep me consistently productive, not just one day of hyper-focus. That takes practice. If you are of the ADHD variety, mad love to us. We know how to manage it, but here's an extra trick. And the more you can practice and consistently set these little goals and maybe even reward yourself for the consistency, you will notice less emotional strain from it. Now, in terms of time blocking, you definitely have to triage. You have to triage. Ranking your tasks, urgency and importance. You have to rank them. Red light, yellow light, green light. Triage it, just like an ER. Fire, flood, blood. That gets the bulk of your attention quick. That's the first thing. Handle that. Have you ever noticed the screaming child always gets the most attention? Same thing. We just triage. Yellow light. Maybe those are bigger tasks. Maybe those are big, deep 8-hour project tasks. Can we chuck those into a couple of days worth? Those aren't emergencies, but it might take some extra time to get these done. Okay, well, let's split this over 4 days, maybe 3 days. If you're feeling real like, no, I want to get this done this week, great. Split it into 3 days. 3 3-hour chunks. That's 9 hours. I just found 9 hours on my phone. Yeah? And you work on it for 3 hours a day, and you've got your specific goal you want to accomplish each day. You've taken that medium-sized rock and chunked it into 3, and now it's smashed by the end of the week. And then green. What are the really small items that, yeah, they still need to get done, but man, if you're spending more than an hour handling it, you've spent way too much time, and you need to possibly delegate or eliminate. Laundry. That's a big one for me. I still haven't solved that one yet. So I put laundry into my daily step goal. I have 15 minutes set aside every single day to just do a load of laundry, fold it, count it as my steps, keep moving. Do I put it away? No, that's everyone else's job. So that's at least where I can compartmentalize it to where my house isn't a wreck. Cannon's got his clean clothes he needs for lacrosse and or construction. Matt looks super fly and badass, and it's handled. I just haven't found someone to come do my laundry yet. I'm looking. But at least it's a part of my day that it's already planned. Done. Those green light, those little pebbles are great if you have medium-sized children. Because they have a ton of time. let's be real. They have a ton of time. And I guarantee if you look at their phones, you can find time from them. So if you don't have time to meal prep, guess who might? Your 13-year-old. Stuck at home, waiting for practice. Mom, I'm bored. Well, instead of an hour and a half on TikTok, give them the recipe. Why don't you cook this chicken for me? That would be very helpful. That was one of my greatest gifts to myself during quarantine. I was still going 16 hours a day. I had businesses I still had to run and help the children manage their school. There was no way. Cannon, come in here. Let me teach you how to cook. Saved my ass. And now he's an amazing cook. I can't wait for the woman he marries to realize all I did was eliminate a small pebble out of my day. And I found a passion in him that he loves to share with others now. That's part of his love language now. How cool is that? But being able to identify those small pebbles and attack them is super important. Putting your phone on silent isn't the key. Believe me, I leave my phone places and just don't know where it is because I have it on silent. But you need to create these boundaries to manage these parts of your brain. If you have someone that is consistently texting you throughout the day and you feel like you have to respond to a text, mute them. Lovingly. There's 3 of you I have on mute because I could spend all fucking day talking to you. I love you. I gotta mute you. And if I comment in 5 texts, responding to all of your 5 texts, just know that I took my phone off mute and I'm so excited to talk to you. But that's how I have to manage my time. That's how I have to manage my brain. Because texts in my brain is still programmed as an emergency, not as we go. Joanna, I promise I'm going to call you back eventually. My sister-in-law. We play phone tag. That's our love language. But if you are easily distracted by any ping or buzz or the light on your watch that lights up, I've got it turned off right now because I'm recording. If I flick my wrist, have you noticed? Oh, there it goes. Our watches light up and the font gets bigger. It's trying to distract you. Learn these pieces and learn how to create focus periods for yourself. My focus periods are personal time, family time, work, do not disturb, fitness, driving. I think I have driving too. All of these different periods, and you can create your own. And you can create what you let in and what doesn't get let in. Fitness, no texts get in. Unless it's Callie, Can, and Matt. That's it. You're the only 3 that get in. Why? Because I'm easily distracted. It's not that I'm unmotivated, and it's not that I don't care about everything, but there's certain things where I have to focus because I'm very easily distracted. Feeling hopeful is the first step. But action is what bridges the gap where you are and where you want to be. Victory hour is so key for this. And in victory hour, that is a do not disturb section of my day. I start, and it takes about 45 minutes, start to finish. I'm not even at an hour. It's okay, but I have it blocked, and I respect the block, and I don't let any distractions in. Maybe that means you only use a certain room for social media. This is the only room I'm allowed to do that in. Think about how you spend your day. We did that for work. We don't work from bed anymore. I know that sounds ridiculous, but we started doing it in quarantine, and then Started getting really disrupted. Sexy time started getting really disrupted. Why? Because we were using that space for something it wasn't intended. It's not that you're lazy or unmotivated. It's you're distracted. You let something in where there should be a boundary, and it doesn't have to be an aggressive boundary. Recognize it and just enforce it. Distraction is a common thief of ambition. Just very silently stealing your focus, and you don't even notice. But the beautiful thing about distraction is within the power that you have to overcome it. Recognize it. Enforce the boundary. Give yourself love for enforcing the boundary, not shame. Stop that shit. Gross. Blech. By being able to recognize, good job, you did it. You enforce that boundary. Dopamine without the shame. Isn't that fun? Practice that. You can take control over it, and it doesn't have to be a negative experience. You can cheer yourself on. You recognized it. Good job. Now fix it. Taking back control of this is the first step towards unlocking your full potential. And once you start really harnessing the power of this consistently, guess what? You're going to get challenged. It's okay. Recognize it. Have people around you that will tell you, hey, Jen, pull out your phone. How much time do you spend a day on certain things? Remember, guys, the journey to success is about progress, not perfection. Every single step you take away from distraction is a step closer to the life you dream of leading. I want to say this again. Every single step you take away from distraction, every piece of power you take away from distraction brings you a step closer to the life you dream of leading, the life you know you deserve. I want you to embrace the challenge. I want you to celebrate the small, consistent victories. I want you to revel in the dopamine that is released when you don't have to use shame to get what you want, and keep pushing forward. The path may not always be easy, but the rewards of staying focused and committed are so worth it. Guys, I hope you found value in today's episode. I promise I'm going to get Matt back. We will be together again. If this did hit you, please share it with someone you think would also find value in it. Like it, share it, give us a 5-star review. Subscribe wherever you do catch your podcasts. And of course, as always, we'll see you next time.